Hey guys, I'm really sick at the moment, so unfortunately this week I'm not going to be able to make a proper video lesson or lick lesson or anything like that. Yeah, I'm pretty much bedridden, so I thought I'd make a video from my bed. So why not do like a recap or a summary of the guitar build journey for my recent custom guitar? Well, let's start at the beginning. I've been playing on my first guitar, my Jackson JS1, for about 11 years. So I've developed a rather decent idea of what I wanted and didn't want from a guitar. I knew that I wanted something that resembled a Jackson, so a dinky or a soloist. I really love that dinky soloist shape, and I love the necks on Jackson guitars as well. So I came up with a draft idea, like a list of all the things I want in a custom guitar, and I found a local luthier here in New Zealand. Here's the draft that I sent the luthier. It's quite rough. I didn't really know what I wanted with the neck pickup at the time. I knew I wanted a single, but I didn't know if I wanted it to be straight or slanted. I like the style of the slanted pickup because I really like the way that the Charvel Fusion series looked, and they had a slanted single pickup in the neck position. But I didn't want the tone of the thinner strings to be too tight and trebly. So I abandoned this pretty soon on, and I came up with this here. So it's a far more polished draft. The neck pickup is routed for a Damasio type neck single, and it's just straight across. It's not angled anymore. As you can see here from the bridge route, I knew I wanted a Kayla bridge, and I already have one on my Charvel Model 2, so I knew how good they are. I just had to have one. And see, there's a cutaway there on the horn for improved fret access, of course, so you can reach the 24th fret. As you can see here, I also wanted a bright white maple neck. As for the inlays, I'd seen some custom inlays that you could buy on eBay, and they were called azurite, and they had this lovely bluish green color to them. And I thought they kind of looked like little Oceania planets, like Earth, for instance, how it had the little green continents surrounded by blue ocean. I just loved the look of them, and I did have a paint job in mind, which I kind of thought would be appropriate for these inlays. But that paint job would come along much later. And so my luthier, Ben Corkle of Ekho Instruments, here in New Zealand, he got to work. Here's the project in its infancy, right when it was beginning. Notice how the knobs are quite far away from the bridge pickup? That was very deliberate on my part. I got so frustrated on my Jackson JS1 how the volume knob was right next to the pickup. I'd keep hitting it with my pinky. It was driving me nuts. So this was a deliberate revisal. I wanted that volume knob to get the hell away from me. The headstock design isn't really inspired by anything at all. It really is just something that I came up with on the fly, with the help of my luthier, of course. And on the topic of the headstock, I decided from the very beginning that I wanted it bare wood. I had no intention of painting it at any point. This guitar has a volute, which is one of those bumps on the back of the neck, right where the headstock begins. I've never really known what they are or what they're for, but I like this style, and so I knew that I wanted one on this particular custom guitar. Check out this fretboard he made for me. Now it looks perfect already, doesn't it? But he went one step further, and he bleached and stained the hell out of it to make it this bright white, artificially bright maple neck. Let's take a look at a few more of the building shots before we get into the paint job. Okay, let's get into the details of the paint job. I don't think I've mentioned until now that this custom guitar project was in a way to celebrate the completion of my solo album, Argonaut. And that album, of course, is a instrumental rock, progressive rock, space concept album. So I thought it'd be very nice to have a space-themed guitar. I've always loved the artwork of galaxies and nebulae, cyans and blues and pinks and purples. Now they might not actually look like that in real life. You probably have to do some filters and stuff like that, but I still love the way they look. So that's what I wanted my custom guitar's paint job to be. So I started throwing together some ideas. I started going on Google Images and checking out some ideas of inspiration. And I found the best airbrush artist that I've ever seen right here in New Zealand as well. So I was very lucky. And I went to him and I started sending him these ideas. As you can see, I overlaid some of these bits of artwork onto like a draft shape of my custom guitar. These are a bit amateurish and way too vibrant and all that, but they at least gave him something to work with. So the airbrush artist's name is Warren Houston, and I'll leave a link to his page in the video description below. Now I knew that from his artwork that I'd seen, I completely trusted his style, and so I said to him, do something like this, but have fun with it, and also make it your style as well. As I said, I had complete trust. So from my luthier to my artist, I had the body sent in the mail, and the airbrush artist said, yeah, I know exactly what you want, I can do it. And so I think it was just like 2 days later, the guitar body was in an auto spray shop where they were sanding it down and putting on the layers of primer and spraying it black, as you can see here. And it wasn't long before the body was back at my airbrush artist and he was applying the first coats. So, I mean, have a look at these. This is the first kind of idea here. You can see he's laying down a foundation of stars. He's just like sprinkling them down, which is what I wanted. I wanted like a star field in the background. And here you can see him laying down the foundation of the nebula itself. And now check it out as it develops. And it wasn't long before it was time to send it back to the auto spray shop for the only type of clear coat that I would allow, or the only one that I would settle for. And it's a two-part polyurethane spray finishes, which you need like special conditions. You need a spray booth. I think you even need a license to spray it. So it's one of those incredibly rock hard finishes that you'll see all over the world on guitars. Like all Jacksons have it. It's that beautifully durable, glossy finish, and I knew that I had to have that. Not only because I wanted a rock hard clear coat, but I also wanted to protect this amazing airbrush art that Warren had done for me. So it was round about now that all the pieces got sent to me. So the neck got sent to me from my luthier, and the body got sent to me from my airbrush artist. And it was up to me now to finish the rest of the project myself. So soldering was up next. Oh, hang on, before we get into that, I need to tell you about the pickups that I chose. In the bridge, I decided on a Damasio Deactivator X. It looks like an X2N, but it isn't quite as powerful. It's still an incredibly powerful passive humbucking pickup, but it isn't as extreme as the X2N. And I had heard mixed reviews about the X2N bridge. Some people said it was too powerful, and some people said it was good, and I didn't want to accidentally get a pickup that I wasn't going to like. So yes, I settled for the Deactivator X. Now the neck pickup, the neck single, I had chosen an Air Norton S. I had heard and seen some reviews and playing demonstrations with the Air Norton S. I really liked the way that it sounded. It had a lovely kind of mellowy and yet tight enough sound to it that I would really enjoy having it in the neck position. Now what I did with these is I wanted the pickups to look like they fit with the guitar. They were both black originally, but I wanted to have some fun, so I decided to paint them blue. And I decided to paint them the same blue, the same paint as well, as I did with the knobs. So it's this like electric blue. I was worried that it was going to be cheesy, but I think it came out pretty well in the end. So after I spray painted these, now we can get onto the soldering. So I hadn't soldered in just over a decade, I think. So I was quite worried that my technique was going to be lacking, and it certainly was at first, but it came back quickly enough. The circuit diagram here was provided by my friend Catalin, or as you might know him here on YouTube, TheMetalRaven. So this is a custom wiring diagram that he made for me, and I wanted 2 volume controls and no tone controls. Now this way I could have the 500K assigned to the humbucker to give it power and clarity, and then the 250K given to the neck pickup, which is more suitable for a single size pickup. So let's get on with the soldering. So here are some pictures of the early job where I was still getting my technique back. And overall I'm really pleased with the result, especially after not soldering in a decade. I think that it's quite neat and it looks good. I think this took me about 6 or 7 hours, so I really did take my time. This ended up being such a perfect job, much to my own personal amazement, that it didn't require any shielding of any kind. It was perfectly quiet. It was totally hum-free. And so that brings us to the end of the project. Here are some pictures for you to look at. And I'll give you a final rundown of the specs. So it's 24 frets, stainless steel, on a bleached, stained, white maple neck. The radius is 12 to 16, I believe. It's got azurite inlays. It's got a 0 fret, which I really like because you can get a super low action if you have a 0 fret installed. I've never had one before, but I'm really pleased I got one on this. The tuning heads are locking tuners, so it's way easier to tune them up to pitch. It doesn't take anywhere near as long. There's not as much turning. And then there's a Kahler locking nut there just to stop everything from going out of tune when you're abusing the whammy. Now the body is made of tulip wood, which I don't think is anything special. I think you can find it. I think you find it's quite common in electric guitar body choice. I've got a cutaway there so that I can reach the 24th fret easier. Kahler bridge in black chrome, steel rollers. Humbucker single pickup configuration, as you already know. DiMarzio Deactivator X humbucker and bridge. DiMarzio A0 and S in the neck. And then custom wiring, the 2 volume controls. That's the end of the build journey. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been a great journey. Just seeing this thing come along from a design in paint here on my computer to an actual physical guitar in my hands, which plays better than any guitar I've ever touched. I'm going to be using this in all my videos from now on, so stand by.